Indictment against former President Donald Trump is creating waves through the Republican presidential field and the GOP as a whole. While some are sticking by Trump, others, like former Attorney General Bill Barr, say that the indictment is just based on allegations within. We are joined now by Sara Azari. She's a NewsNation legal contributor and attorney. Sara, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to join you, Kelsey.
So Barr says the indictment was one Trump could have avoided if he played ball in the first place. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
This was a case that entirely of his own making. He had no right to those documents. The government tried for over a year quietly and with respect to get them back, which was essential that they do. And he jerked them around. And he had no legal basis for keeping them.
Strong words there from Barr. Is he correct, Sara?
Yeah, well, look, I think Bill Barr is still, to some degree, minimizing. I mean, what he's saying is Trump committed a crime, but jerking them around, he did more than just jerk them around. He willfully retained classified documents for several months, despite multiple requests by the National Archives and then subpoenas by the DOJ, to the point where they had to come in with the most intrusive act of executing a search warrant on a former president's home. So this goes beyond jerking around. And to me, Kelsey, what really stood out in this indictment was not just the 31 or so counts of 793E, the Espionage Act violations for the willful retention of the classified documents, but the obstruction charges, the idea that the president was so incredibly personally involved in the concealment and the moving around of these documents and these boxes. I mean, he had a death grip on these boxes and didn't even want his own attorney, Trump lawyer number one, to go through them without his, outside his presence. So there's more to this. And, even though why does not really matter to a violation of 793E, why, if we ever find out, can make it more obviously egregious if it's nefarious. And it also could mean more to our national security.
Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper today also described the former president as, quote, a hoarder of classified documents, keeping them for personal reasons. Is there any legal precedent that would allow him to do that, Sara?
No, like I said, why doesn't matter. Whether he is, I think Esper said he could be the child who wants to hold on to his toys, or he has some sort of a financial motive to use these at some point. I think if the why is nefarious, obviously, this crime could lead to other potential discovery of other crimes, and maybe the DOJ already knows and is further investigating. Or it could just be as simple as, he likes to take these things home with him, and just in case, it doesn't matter that the code 793E, that the law is violated if the DOJ can prove. And remember, these are all accusations, allegations. Trump is also entitled to the presumption of innocence, but this is a very strong case. And if they can prove that his retention of these documents was willful, because after all these months he was not, returning them, then he's guilty of the crime. And, Kelsey, there was 7 individuals who did exactly what Trump did between 2017 and now, as recently as this year, who were sent to prison for exactly the same conduct, not because of anything nefarious, not because of any financial motive, but just simply taking classified documents home. So this is a real crime. It is not a rusty, archaic law.
Much of the information on this indictment is based on information from Trump's attorneys. Exactly how common is that in such a high-profile case?
Aside from it being a high-profile case, it's not common at all, because attorney-client communications are privileged. They're protected from discovery. Your lawyer cannot be subpoenaed to testify about what you have said and communicated with him, to the extent that it is regarding the legal matter. In this case, though, what happened was there was a crime fraud exception to that privilege that pierced that privilege. And so the minute that I heard that privilege is pierced and his lawyers are called before a grand jury, I knew that this was going to be an imminently indictable offense, and really bad for Trump, because we have notes, we have transcripts, we have lawyers testifying about what they had said, what Trump wanted them to do. I think one of them, Kelsey, said that Trump was signaling to him to pluck out what was bad out of these documents, and that he didn't want that lawyer to be alone sorting out through these documents. So very bad. I mean, these lawyers would be co-conspirators in a conspiracy if they weren't allowed to cooperate and testify about the crime that Trump wanted them to commit, essentially, alongside him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.